Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's slightly later than usual live video. It's great to see you again, or if it's the first time you're watching, then it's great to meet you for the first time. As always, if we can have a bit of interaction, so if you can put hashtag live or hashtag replay for me, and any particular comments that occur to you through this. It'd also be great if you've got people that you know that you think could benefit from this, if you can share it with them. So this video is all about my 7 top tips to achieving your goals. So for anybody who's been watching all week, you'll know that this week's theme is about setting our goals and building an action plan towards them. So the next step is all about the action planning piece. We do have a workshop happening at 1 o'clock tomorrow that's free for everybody to attend. We'll put the link in the comments box if you want to register, but it's all about planning and how to move forward. So my 7 top tips for action planning. The first one is start with goals that you care about. Okay, so we talked about this yesterday, but make sure that you care about the goals. Once you've got a goal that you care about, make sure you put SMART goals in place. So we want them to be specific and measurable and time-bound, okay? Ideally achievable and results focused, so you know you're in control of them, okay? But what we're looking for is a SMART goal that we know we can measure towards. The next thing is about thinking about that time-bound piece. So what we want to understand is what's the timescale for achieving the whole goal, but then how we can break that down. So we're talking about milestones along the way. So if the target is to do something in 3 months' time, you might have a milestone at the end of each month that tells you whether you're heading towards that goal and tracking towards it on purpose. Or you might build a weekly milestone that you can check in against. Okay, so milestones are really important for helping us achieve our goals. Once we've set the milestone, another great tip is to build them by working backwards. So think about where you want to be at the end and work back. So if this is a 12-month goal, where do you need to be at the end of quarter 3, at the end of quarter 2, at the end of quarter 1, and then within quarter 1, month on month and week on week, where do you need to be? Working back helps us start from a premise of A, we're going to achieve the goal, and secondly, or B, what's going to happen is we're not going to be limited by where we are today. So I've talked consistently this week about running because it's one of my goals to achieve during the lockdown time. And if I think about my big goal with running is to reach the end of 9 weeks from when I started, able to run for 30 minutes non-stop. Okay, I'm using the Couch to 5K app, so there's a nice program already set out for me with weekly milestones that I've got to achieve in there. Okay, but if you think about planning that backwards, what you're doing is starting from, by this point, I'm going to be able to run for 30 minutes and working back to something that makes sense. If I thought about planning it forwards, it'd probably look something like, well, I can't get off the couch at the minute. So week 1's going to be all about going for a walk. And week 2 is going to be, well, I might introduce a couple of minutes of running, maybe a minute at a time. And week 3, oh, well, I think I could maybe do a couple of minutes. Is it likely to end up to my 30 minutes, or am I limited by the way that I see the world now? Okay, so we want to make sure when we set those milestones, we work backwards from the point in time that we want to have achieved it by, what we want to have achieved, and then work from there. So once we've done that, the next thing is we might need to be able to iterate with that. Okay, so if we build it backwards and it ends up being, in my running example, great, but at the end of week 1, I need to be able to run for 20 minutes. It's clearly not going to happen. Okay, so having worked backwards, we then need to iterate and make sure the ramp up makes sense, but still takes us towards that end goal and takes account for how we're going to learn as we progress through the period of time we're talking about. Our next step, step 5, or tip 5. So once we've got our milestones in place, what do we actually need to do? What are the practical parts of the action plan that need to happen to help us achieve those milestones? Okay, and we want to break that down. So we're looking week on week at what actions have to happen, or even day by day, depending what your time frame is, but to identify the actions you need to do in order to get the results that you want. Okay, if you need some help and support about how to do that, that's exactly what we're doing on the planning workshop tomorrow. So it'd be great to see you there at 1 o'clock. Okay, and then once we've done that, tip 6 is make some decisions. So what ways do we want to test and measure this? How are we going to know if we're successful? And once we've done that, what knowledge and resources do we need and skills do we have to build or to have available to us to use to be able to move forward? Okay, so on your week-on-week plan, we want to see what results we're expecting to track, how we're doing towards it, and what we're going to do if we're on track or if we're off track. And then finally, we need to make sure we've got that regular review of the SMART goals and the milestones. So every time you reach a milestone date, where are we at and how are we going to move forward? So, and that's where having a thinking partner can really help you. So, final tip for you is all about who can you rely on to help support you with this. So that could be a coach, it could be a friend, it could be a buddy, it could be somebody from your work team, it could be somebody in your family, but somebody who can hold you to account for the work you've committed to and the goal that you've set yourself. Okay, and can be part of helping you measure those results objectively and looking at whether you're on track or off track. Okay, so if you think you want to do a build for an action plan, join us on the webinar tomorrow. It's going to be a great opportunity to get plans in place. We're either going to work on somebody's plan or on a few people's plans as we go through the workshop. So it's going to be an interactive session to help you learn the tools and work out how to move forward. If you know people are perpetually saying things like, I want to be or I want to do, and then they don't achieve it, then get them to come along and join us, because they've clearly got a goal in mind, but something's getting in the way. So get them to come with us, see if we can get them an action plan in place to help them make those changes. So looking forward to seeing loads of you tomorrow. There'll be another live video then, but also on the workshop. So please sign up if you're interested, share it with anybody you think is relevant, or leave us a comment with your thoughts on these 7 top tips to achieve your goals. Look forward to speaking to you soon.